This question is from Jojo44. It says, what can we do to do more for the kingdom? As I feel like I don't know enough, or I don't do enough. Yeah. What
Hmm.
here's what I'd say. There's a few things I would say. I'm trying to think of the right one I want to say. But really, I think for the kingdom, like I see this in a lot of people now, is they want to talk to people, they want to do more, they just feel inequipped or feel like they don't know what to do. What I would say is, first off, if you have a gift, you know what I mean, then you want to serve in this way, and it doesn't need to be grand. Like everybody thinks they have to be like, the next William Lane Craig or something, or have
Yeah.
this giant YouTube channel. It doesn't need to be that. I think I honestly I find more value in when people work in their local area and work in the disciple people than I do with people talking on YouTube with a million subscribers. I think that's where I see a lot more change in the local area and really kind of discipling people.
Yeah.
So start with your family, right? You start with your family
Absolutely.
and disciple them as well as you can to honor God, and you are doing something for the kingdom. Even loving your wife or spouse better, you are doing something for the kingdom in that way. And then extend that to your community, your local community. How can you serve in the church? If it's just changing diapers, that's great, because we need that. You know what I mean? That's helping the kingdom. So I wouldn't want you to make a hierarchy of like, it's better if you're reaching more people or something, because I don't believe that for a second. I think there's people that are doing far greater work than I'm doing that are only talking to a couple people throughout their whole lives. Even my best friend, he's helped disciple me like crazy, and he doesn't have a ministry or anything like that. But man, have I learned a lot from him. He's really, God has used him to really speak into my life, which helps me try to speak into your guys' life. So, in other words, yeah, that's something that I would say. Anything you want to add to that, Jim?
Yeah, just be careful too when you start to get like, what more can I do? Can I do? Can I do? Can I do? Do.
Oh
When you
yeah,
start to turn the gospel into a works based,
yes,
I'm not
yes,
doing enough. Okay,
yes.
stop for a second. Tell you what, I'm going to give you this advice because I do it. I'm terrible at this. This is about what I'm willing to let into my heart. So I would say if you're going to do anything, surrender more to Jesus. I have lots of things I think about that are ungodly or distracting. At the very least, they're distracting. At the worst, they're ungodly. And so those things are in my heart. If I would just surrender more to, when I say my heart, I mean that I think about them. That I'm using the heart the way the biblical term uses the word heart. My entire being. In other words, that I'm thinking about these things, and if I would just surrender my thoughts to Jesus more, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth will speak. I don't have to be like intentional. Like today, how many hours did I do this? It'll
Yeah.
just happen naturally because you've now reprioritized your desires and your passions. So I think
Yes.
for a lot of it for me is I got to stop at least at this age because we are such compare monsters. You're comparing yourself to us when you're asking this question. I can compare myself to Jonathan and ask, why is my channel as big as his? We can compare ourselves to David Wood. Why isn't our channel as big as his? This goes on and forever.
Yes.
Instead, what I want to do, and by the way, again, all the biggest gifts that anyone's ever offered in ministry are still those crayon drawings we're going to offer to Jesus at the end of the day.
Yes.
So we can
Yes.
get hung up in this and we're going to get there and realize that we are nobody. He is everything. So
Yes.
I would just say, as I surrender more, and I want to do better at this, I'm not good at it. I'm prideful. I'm a worker. I still find my value in my work instead of in the person of Jesus. I'm guilty of all that. But if I
Yes.
could stop doing that, I wouldn't. We stop asking the question, "How can I do as much as you guys?" or "How can I do more?" We just be doing. We just be living. We be being. We're not human doers.
Yeah.
We're human beings, right? So
Yeah.
it really is about trying to move away from that.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, because that is important. It's something I wanted to address too, is like, you don't want to get into this thing where, you do fall into this type of works salvation. I'm working to earn my place here, because Christ has already saved us from that. You know what I mean? So it's not as if you're working in order to be justified. You've already been justified. And what I'd say too is, like, I found in my life too, there's a passage in Galatians 5:16 where Paul says, keep in step with the spirit and you don't gratify the desires of the flesh. Now, this was something what I realized, because I realized what Paul's doing in the whole section there. I'm trying to not use the theological word. But in the section there, he's contrasting this to show that like when the more that you walk in the spirit, the less you gratify the desires of the flesh. And this is what really helps, because a lot of times we think we have to start at trying to attack the flesh or something. And this is kind of a distraction a lot of the times in my mind, because kind of like how Jim was saying, is like these things come from you. Because I found that the more that I'm studying the scriptures and I'm just loving these scriptures, the easier it is. Like I don't have to, spend, I mean, it just kind of comes natural conversations and stuff. And I just think about ways and stuff like that to communicate the messages. So anyways, great points to Jim.